it's Sienna. Welcome back to my channel, to the 95 of you who have subscribed. We are this close to hitting 100 subscribers. What? Also, TikTok. Almost 10,000 subscribers, really close to hitting that, and once we do, I will be doing a huge giveaway on TikTok, and I'm not sure exactly what the prize is going to be, but I am pretty sure I'm going to be giving away a print of this here painting behind me. So the other day I just finished this painting of a cat nose, in case you couldn't tell what it was, because some people are still a little bit confused. For a while, some people thought it was like some female anatomy, but whatever. It's a cat nose, and I think I will be giving away a poster of it for my TikTok giveaway. So go follow me on TikTok if you haven't already, subscribe to me if you haven't already, and now that we have all of that out of the way, I would also like to promote this t-shirt that I got. I just got it in the mail today, and I ordered it from my favorite TikToker, Lunar Eclipse Urbex. She has merch. Go check it out. It's amazing. I love it so much. I did my makeup just to match this shirt for this video. So now let's actually get into how to price your art, because that's why you're here. So I am a professional pet portrait artist, and I have been selling my art seriously for a little bit longer than 2 years now. So I have a couple years of experience selling art and trying to figure out the best way to price art and all of that kind of stuff. I have kind of 3 different categories of ways to price your art. The first category is going to be mostly for those of you who are super beginner artists and have never sold anything ever. My second category is also for beginners who haven't really sold art seriously before, but are really looking into getting into that. You know, those of you who have sold maybe 1 or 2 pieces of art in the past, maybe to your friends or family, but now you're kind of getting really interested in selling it seriously, maybe as a serious hobby, or maybe you're looking to start your own business. And the third category will help you figure out how to price your art a little bit later on down the line. Once you have kind of a good client base, you kind of have a steady rhythm of sales coming in for artwork that you're selling. So those are the 3 categories I will be sharing with you guys today on how to price your art. I feel like that was a long intro, and I hate doing long intros, so I apologize for that. But I'm just ready to go ahead and give you guys straight up answers about how to price your art. All right, here's category number 1. This is, again, for those of you who have never sold artwork before and literally have no idea where to start. This answer is gonna sound kind of blunt, and hopefully you don't take it the wrong way, but it's just the most honest answer I can come up with. The way you price your art is you gotta sell it for what people will pay. I experienced this stage of pricing artwork when I was in late middle school, early high school, maybe even some elementary school. So if you're in a situation where you're a beginner artist and maybe you did a drawing of maybe a celebrity or something like that and you want to sell it, ask around to your friends and family, see if anybody is interested in buying it. And usually at this stage, you're going to be selling a lot of artwork for $5, $10, $15, $20. And I really don't recommend selling your art for that cheap if you're actually trying to make a living from it. But if you're a super beginner, that's just kind of how you got to start. You just have to sell your art for what people are willing to pay for it. Category number 2. This is for those of you who have already had a bunch of experience in category number 1. You've sold some artwork, you're kind of getting the hang of it, kind of getting a lot of skill built up in a certain area of art, whether that's drawing or painting or clay or anything art related. You kind of got your skill, you kind of got a small clientele of people you sold your art to, and now you're kind of thinking about selling art, maybe starting a small business, and this category is for you guys. Now, this is kind of my favorite category because it has a formula to it. It's a really easy to follow formula, and this is basically the straight up answer for the best way to price your art, kind of no matter where you are in your art career. This is just kind of like the baseline, the formula to follow. And that formula is materials plus shipping plus hourly wage equals how much to sell your art for. So say you're still pretty new at selling your artwork. In that case, you might want to pay yourself around $10 an hour. For example, if you do a painting and your canvas costed $20 and you probably used about $10 worth of paint, your supplies would be $30. And say the painting costs about $10 to ship. So now you have $40 of expenses that you have to cover. So that painting has to be at the minimum at least $40 if you want to make any sort of profit and cover the expenses that it took to make it. So say this painting took you 6 hours to make and you want to pay yourself $10 an hour. you also have to add $60 onto the price. So supplies and shipping is $40 and your labor is $60. So then you should price your artwork for $100. So over time, you're going to want to increase your hourly wage a little by little over time, especially if you're gaining a lot of skill or if you're spending a lot of money on education, like if you're going to college for art. Definitely up your hourly rate as you go and as you build your skill. And category number 3 is if you have a pretty good clientele, you have a lot of experience using that formula I just explained, you have a lot of sales under your belt, and maybe you have kind of a steady art business going on. At this point, you're gonna want to add demand into that formula. So say if you have a certain type of art that is selling very, very well, and say you're already paying yourself a pretty good hourly rate for it and you're still getting a whole bunch of sales, especially if you're getting more sales than you can handle and you kind of feel overwhelmed and you feel like you're falling behind on your wait list. At this point, you can up your prices because of demand. And I don't really have an answer of exactly how much you should do it or how much you should raise your prices by. I don't have an exact number for you. That is just something you kind of have to play around with. Start out raising your price a little tiny bit and see if you're still getting sales, and this should make it so your sales do decline a little bit. If you raise your prices because of demand, your sales are going to decline. So at this point, you kind of have to find a middle zone where you are still making the same amount of money as before, or more, but you're getting less work, so now you're not as overwhelmed. Just to rephrase that, I don't know if it made sense, I'll rephrase it. So supply and demand. If you raise your prices because your demand is very high, your sales will go down, but you want to make sure you're still making the same amount of money. So to do that, like I said, you just kind of have to play with your numbers, play with the prices. Maybe you want to raise them. Maybe if you raise them too much, you want to lower them again. So you just kind of have to find that sweet spot where you're still making the amount of money that you need to, but you're not being overwhelmed with too many orders. And those are kind of the 3 categories that I have for how to price your art. I try to keep it as simple as possible. Obviously, there are a lot more factors that can go into it. When in doubt, just use that formula. I hate outros. I hate watching outros. Okay, bye.